Hi everyone, so I asked on my Instagram what kind of videos people would prefer to see, and one of the ones that people really enjoyed the idea of was a gap year finance video. And I said I would film it today, but I've kind of been procrastinating a little bit today, and also it's been super rainy and the sun just came out while I'm about to do my makeup, so I'm mixing in this video with a get ready with me, so I hope y'all appreciate that. First things first, just a little disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't know if anybody's realised that yet. The biggest qualifications I have for making this video is the fact that my dad is a trained accountant, so I get anxious about money. The fact of the matter is that over the past year in this gap year, I've had a lot more financial responsibilities, and as a result I've learned a lot more about budgeting and finance, saving and spending and all that, and I think I can share that knowledge specifically within the frameworks of gap year for anyone who is having a gap year or entering independent life. But it's all pretty basic, so I will start my brows before any of that. I've done my eyebrows, so that's the hard part of the video over. Let's talk about money, shall we? A lot of people, obviously, when they have gap years, want to go travelling or have experiences that they've not had before, or maybe work for a year and see how it goes. And mostly that means both making money and saving money. Those are kind of the biggest two aims that people have. Obviously, my first tip is, well, have a job. The tips and the schemes that I'm going to talk about in this video probably won't work if you don't have a job and don't have a consistent income. We live in up and down time. I don't know how employment and job rates are going about how they are in the rest of the world, but jobs are around, I'm sure. If not, then start a business. Most people by the time they're 16 have a job and work throughout sixth form. When I started this gap year, I kept the same job that I had when I was at sixth form, kept my same hours, and then just continued to do a bunch of overtime. And I kept those same amount of low hours in order to have like a wide variety of availability, so that if I went travelling or wanted to do shows or acting bits, then I was more likely to be available than not. And luckily in my working environment, overtime was pretty easy to schedule and easy to get, so I'm quite lucky in that sense. The next big part of this video is budgeting. What I do. Here's my biggest tip for budgeting. Basically, I'm going to explain how I budget my life on a weekly basis, which basically means, oh, you have this money to spend throughout the week. I go on a weekly basis because I don't know, it's just easier. I can't do daily. I think having a daily budget is a bit difficult, as obviously you're more likely to spend a certain amount of money on one day than another in case you have like train tickets or stuff to buy. The reason I do a weekly budget is so that you can keep count of how much money you have available to you, rather than watching a number in your bank account just go down and then getting really anxious about that, right? Keeping record of your spending and knowing how much you have to spend is good for reducing that anxiety, because you feel like you're in control of what you have to spend, where you can spend it, la da 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 da. And I shall explain how I do that. I said before how at work I have a basic contracted hours, right? And because those are my basic contracted hours, that's not any overtime. My theory is I should be able to live for a month off that money, because overtime is never guaranteed, and if it is not guaranteed and if I can't get the extra hours throughout the month, that is the amount of money that I have to live on. I can't remember one month for this whole year has started where I haven't had overtime, but basically that's my theory. As a result, what I do when I get paid, I look at the number and then I calculate how many overtime hours I have had in a month versus the contracted hours I've had. So when you're doing work, count the hours that you do. Say I keep a record of my hours. So back in February, those were some dates, and those were the hours that I was working. keep record of that just in case when you get paid you either get underpaid. So I take away the amount of money that I would have gotten from my contracted hours, take away that amount of money from how much you got paid, and then what I do with that money is I put that all into savings. And then after I've put that into savings, I have the number of the money that I have left in my current account. And then with the money that I have in my current account, I take away from the calculation a number of my overheads. So overheads are basically your direct debits or the bills that you have to pay throughout the month. So I've got Spotify, Netflix, gym, Photoshop, Premiere, some people have rent, phone bill, phone insurance, any other technology insurance, car insurance. Those for me are all overheads because those are all direct debit payments and they're payments that I know I have to pay every month. So I take that away from the budget number just so that that money is saved, tucked away. I can't look at that money, I can't spend that money. Then I am left with the amount of money that I would consider spending money throughout the month. And then I divide that by 4 because I get paid every 4 weeks, and the number that I have left is the amount of money that I have to spend per week. It's all an equal amount. Yes, some weeks I do spend more than I do on other weeks, but I try every week that I am in to stick to that budget. The way that I stick to that budget is by keeping notes on my phone. So say the week beginning the 10th of June I have £70, and then it'll be the same for the week beginning the 17th, the 24th and the 1st of July. And that is how it will go. And each week if I spend something, say I buy a coffee, I take it away from the money and then the money reduces. But another thing I would do is if I know that I'm going to make a spend at a specific time during the week, 2 weeks away, or say I need to buy a train ticket to London every week to get to Rose Bruford, I will either pre-buy that, so the Rose Bruford train ticket, I always pre-book those on Trainline and then the money gets taken away from the budget every week. Or say if it's a hair appointment, for example, that I have in 2 weeks, I will already in the notes take away the amount of money that the hair appointment will cost so that that money is kept and I can't touch it. Just in case I need to go into next week's budget for any reason, which I really do try and keep away from, but sometimes you can't avoid these things. That's what I do in terms of budgeting. Now, weekly budgeting and keeping a record of money really isn't a new and innovative concept. I'm definitely not saying that, but trust me, it will really surprise you how many people I know that do not have any single way of recording spending. And I think recording spending is key because I seriously believe, especially in our generation, money anxiety or spending anxiety is real. Like, or I kept track of my spending, I would get so anxious of spending money. I would literally check my online banking on my phone more than twice a day and just watch the number go down and be terrified of it, of like running out of money by the end of the month. And I think a lot of people do run off that basis, and I think that is quite dangerous because for one, you do risk just running out of money, especially if you have overheads, but also the fact that it really does take control of your mind and it's just not very healthy. And I think tracking it and just keeping an eye on money and also keeping it in a separate document from your actual bank statement is healthier because you feel more in control. Yeah, just to go back to that, with saving money, obviously not everyone will use the same method I do. Not everyone needs or wants to save so much money. When you get overtime, maybe you want to add more of that and stuff like that. What I would recommend for that is you would have to go into your own calculation of how much money you need to live off throughout the month. Figure out how much money you spend on overheads and then basically track your spending throughout an average week or an average month to see what you spend every month. In case you're getting train tickets or bus tickets, that would all be inclusive. If you buy lunch out or you always buy your lunch, say at your workplace, if that's like £3 a day, then that is what you need in your weekly budget. So figure out a number in which to say is your average spending for a week and then take that up with the overheads. That is your monthly budget basically. So you've got your monthly budget and then your weekly budget, okay? If that makes any sense. And I do say that specifically for gap year people because, you know, when you just come straight out of school, you've got no financial lessons, you have no idea how to work out a budget. Really, when you become more financially independent, you do learn these things, but you know, it really does surprise me how many people don't think about this. I mean, I certainly didn't until maybe like December. Because of having to save money, I really had to force myself into a corner to actually properly dedicate myself to a budgeting system, and this is the one that I have found works the most. I mean, sometimes people just don't have enough money because they need to, like, they're not on enough money for their lifestyle. As a result of that, I do have some money saving tips. A lot of people, obviously, if you're going out and living a life in the world, say working or traveling or commuting a lot to do what you do, spends typically in our little Western world that we live in include train tickets, coffee, and food. A big coffee tip: always bring a reusable cup, because for one, we are having a climate emergency right now. Also, literally every single coffee place, like franchise coffee place now, does a discount for bringing a reusable cup. Costa and Starbucks give you 25 pence off, and Pret gives you 50p off, which is just legendary. You can get reusable cups from literally everywhere now. The cheapest one, I'm pretty sure, is at Starbucks. They have like plastic recyclable reusable cups there for £1, which is just kind of ridiculous to me. Like, Starbucks is the most expensive coffee place and they're giving out the cheapest reusable cups. Like, it's mad. At Pret, their regular like ground coffee is 99p. You bring a reusable cup, you can get that for 49 pence. But also the fact that, like, mentally then, if you go in with the mindset that I need to bring my reusable cup to get coffee, otherwise I'm not getting coffee, then you're instantly saving on the coffee spend, because it's like, well, I'm not going to get a coffee if I don't have my reusable cup because we're low-key in a climate emergency, and also then, like, I just can't afford it. You sort of mentally get in this headspace where I'm not going to do this unless I have this. With your own fault of forgetting things, you're saving money. Train tickets, always book your train tickets in advance on Trainline. It always makes it cheaper. Sometimes there is an admin fee, which is so annoying, like, why are you charging me 30p for admin? But most of the time, like, London travel cards and a lot of long distance return trips, like, are so much cheaper on Trainline. And I think if you get the barcoded ticket, then there is no admin fee, I think. Get a rail card. Like, a lot of people use trains. A lot of people use trains. I think trains are unavoidable. Specifically for, like, my drama lads out there, if you're going to London, you're seeing a lot of shows, you're going to be on the train. You're also going to be using the tube. You know what you can get? A 16 to 25 rail card, and now a 25 to 30 rail card. If you're within that age graphic, you are entitled to a third off your train tickets. So many people don't have rail cards. It's weird. That third off is a lot of money off, right? And you can connect it to your Oyster card so that you can get a third off, like, I think just the tube. I don't know about buses in London. It costs £27 once a year. In terms of food, if you're out and about and you're going to have lunch or dinner out generally because you're out and about, I would just say bring a packed lunch. Get a packed lunch, don't get fast food. Fast food at restaurants, coffee houses, McDonald's, it's just so overpriced, it's so unnecessary. You don't necessarily know what's going into your body and you are paying too much for the food you're paying. If you're still living with your parents, it's very likely, for one, that your parents are buying you food. I'm just speaking to my gap year people there. Obviously, I know it's not the same for everyone. Trust me, I know it's not the same for everyone. But even then, it's still cheaper for you to buy ingredients from scratch and make packed lunches and make your own food. Unless all you're doing is buying your stuff from Waitrose. And if you are doing that, I would just recommend stop doing that. Go to literally any other supermarket, maybe not M&S, I don't know. I've made a what I eat in a day packed lunch video because I am severely passionate about packed lunches. Like, we ain't just talking like sandwiches and crisps here. We're talking like make yourself a curry on a Sunday night for your dinner and then keep that for the rest of the week to put in your packed lunches. It just saves money. Even if you think you don't have the time to make lunches, if you're making yourself dinner every day, you can keep leftovers or make spare and have that for your packed lunch. Don't bother with buying food out. Like, just don't bother. It's such a waste. When you're at sixth form, you may have had a uni days account. This is at my sixth form college. I don't know if it was the same at a lot of schools, but God, it really should be. Just check that. Open your uni days account again if you deleted it when you got your results, because My Uni Days account is still active, it still works, and I have no idea when it's gonna die, but it still hasn't, so my Uni Day still works, so I still get discounts for Pizza Express, 40% off when it's not a Friday, Saturday or Sunday. That's a tip. Another big tip in terms of like eating out, eating food at your Pizza Express, your Zizzi's, your Nando's, get their loyalty system and then sign up for their mailing list, especially Pizza Express and Zizzi's. Sign up for their mailing list because trust me, they will never stop sending you discounts. Every bloody day I get an email from Zizzi's being like, oh, have this 30% off all food voucher on us. They just don't stop sending me like discounts. Sometimes it gets annoying, trust me, but that's why I have 5 email accounts. Restaurant mailing accounts, because restaurant mailing accounts really, especially chain restaurants, because I according to the whole Jamie Oliver thing, like the chain restaurant industry is dying. Drinking and going on nights out, I have no idea how you get a discount for that apart from flirting with people at bars, which kind of works. I'm not saying flirt with people to get drinks. That's totally not what I'm saying. That was just meant to be a joke. I mean, if you look at a lot of clubs and a lot of bars, they tend to have special days, like say there's a day where they're just giving people champagne if it's their birthday. Some have like 2-for-1 cocktail days and stuff like that, or just days where there are different things to make you spend and drink more but giving you discounts. So those are my little saving money tips for all the things that I have found relevant. And then I think like the other things are just like because obviously my biggest tip is just keep yourself away from the money that you have in savings or that you need to spend on your overheads. You don't want to get yourself into a situation where you can't pay the things you need to pay, like rent or your phone bill and stuff like that. And you learn to sort of invest your money more into things that you really care about. Like a lot of the spending money that I have, when I do have spending money, will go on theatre tickets because I see that as an investment, because I think theatre tickets are an investment because theatre is what I want to do. You learn about the industry, or it goes on things like acting classes and acting bits. You know, my money goes back into what I do generally, or books. Like I buy too many books, but books or plays. You know, you put the money back into the things that will one day hopefully make you money and also that you enjoy and love. And sometimes I do make a big spend on makeup because I love that stuff too. You gotta analyse your own spending habits at the end of the day, the things you do need and the things you don't need, which is tough and it's hard, and it's hard for someone to tell you that, I think. I hope I'm not sounding like someone who is a patronising asshole right now. It's the idea of like, are you impulse spending or are you investing, I think. Money and budget and finance, really, especially in your gap year, you will come to find that it hugely impacts your mental health. It hugely it's not just lifestyle, it really does affect your brain at the end of the day. And if money and budget is really seriously negatively affecting your mental health, maybe speak to a friend, a parent, a guardian, someone close to you, just to help out. And that's the tea. That is the tea. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I didn't sound too ranty, patronising or preachy, but that's my tips, basically. In terms of saving money, it's just all about putting away what you don't need to currently spend, basically. That's the tea. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed me, if you enjoyed this face. I'm sorry this was only a half get ready with me as I haven't finished, but at least I got started. Watch some of my other videos and comment if you have any ideas about money that you'd like to share. Seriously, start the conversation, help some other people out. People need it. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you want any updates on me, and have a lovely day. Goodbye. Don't destroy yourself this weekend. Thank you. I'm gonna do my blusher now.